I
So
only
what's
fly
your
if I
next?
really have to. My next pick, Ender's Game. Awesome. I don't care what people say about how it ended, and I don't care about how close it is to the books. This is the movie that I wished After Earth was. 'Kay, After Earth was a piece of crap. The only thing that was good about
Yeah,
After
I didn't
Earth
like it.
was the special effects and the fact that they started building you up. Like you started watching After Earth and you're like, man, this could be really good. And then they went nowhere with it, and it's just disappointing. But Ender's Game was the dopeness, and it was like it wasn't one of those like hour and a half done you forget about it movies. It was like almost a whole 2 hours. I really enjoyed it. It's a good movie you could watch with your whole family, people of all ages, but
Mhm.
like it's got like some serious adult themes in there too, but not like sexual or anything, but things that make you think like, that puts things in perspective. Oh yeah, I see what they're saying.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford is in it. And Harrison Ford is like my man crush. I love that dude. I met him before, and he's like one of the coolest cats you'll ever meet. Like he's just really down to earth, and anything Harrison Ford is in, I'm already happy about. But it was a good movie in itself. The little kid that was in there, I forgot where he was from, but he did a really good job playing the protagonist, and they had a lot of memorable characters, some really great moments. I mean, it's the kind of movie that I watch over and over again. Like I actually rewatch, and I don't really rewatch any movies unless I really
Right.
like it. It's just a fun ride from beginning to end.
Okay. Now, my next movie. Okay, and if you guys have seen this, awesome. If you haven't, you're retarded because you haven't.
See, I don't understand why people have so much hate for Ender's
Fast and the
Game.
Furious 6.
Ah,
I just watched it on Netflix the other day. Oh my god, it's awesome. You think that, they're all like, oh, it's going to be another movie where they're stealing a bunch of shit. No, it's flipped around. Now they're helping The Rock. I don't remember his name in the movie, but they're helping The Rock this time catch somebody.
yeah,
Or,
yeah.
and now that's actually, it's cool. I mean, The Rock's great. Those guys are also freaking huge. It makes me look like you know, a 2-year old
You know the
standing
word.
next to him.
The word on the street is that like I was reading some articles. Supposedly, The Rock had it written out in his contract that Vin Diesel could not gain more mass than him during the production of the film. So Vin Diesel actually started scaling back on his workout regimen, so there'd be like a big contrast between them.
Why? Because he wants to feel big. Okay, and I'm not gonna say this because he's just huge, but Vin Diesel is huge. I've met the guy before. Not hey buddy, what's going on like that, but I've met it. I got an autograph from him before, and he's not a little guy.
Oh yeah, he not.
I mean, he's fucking big. I mean, he's freaking wide, and he's not really tall. He's not that tall at all. Rock's what, like 6'4"? Vin Diesel's only like 6 foot or smaller, or
Yeah.
maybe 6'1", and he's
He,
just as wide.
Well, he
And
used to be a bouncer back in New York City, and the funny thing about that is like when you look at him, you're like, oh, he's a meathead, but he is like such a total nerd. He loves Dungeons and Dragons and video games and all that stuff.
he likes World of Warcraft too.
Yeah, yeah. So
He
he's
does
just a cool
because
dude.
he's a geek. He is, which is kind of cool. Even massive motherfuckers can be geeks.
Yeah, I like him too. He's another man. Cause I got respect for him. He just got to work on his pronunciation a little bit. Cause there's times when I'm watching his movies and I'm like, what did he just say? It's like a Sylvester Stallone type thing, you know? It's like,
Adrian. All right, we got a movie from a viewer, Ender's Game.
that's the one I just said. He was saying
Oh,
it's terrible. Were you even listening to my movie? You didn't even listen to my movie pick.
I no, I was for
No, see, that's what I don't get. A lot of people said End of the Game was
wow,
terrible.
man,
You know what?
so bad.
I might be
Terrible.
I might be biased because I like sci-fi stuff. I just love the whole process that goes behind sci-fi. There's been plenty of crap sci-fi stuff out there, but I don't see why people would say that Ender's Game was terrible. Maybe average or forgettable, but it's an enjoyable movie. Like I don't see how you could sit through that and not enjoy it. I mean, unless you're like really picky. And if someone says Ender's Game is terrible, I'm saying compared to what? I'd really like to see what they like. Like 'kay, if it's people said it didn't make any sense at all. I don't know. I don't know
Okay,
what.
now I'm listening. Now go ahead, Yogi. You're third. I'm watching intently.
I'm trying to think back, like what could well, okay. The ending was, see, that's the thing, people getting hung up on the ending. I really like, I think the ending ended where it needed to be, and I kind of understand why. But people don't get, all right. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's basically
No, do
two
it. We're talking about this
two
stuff.
brothers and a sister. And basically what the siblings represent are three different points on a spectrum of a personality. So, you know, they have the sister who's the most compassionate one. Then they have the brother who's like the very violent one, and then Ender's in the middle. So he's like the balance of it, and it's a lot of symbolism in there. But even at the surface level, like not even trying to dig that deep, I enjoyed it. I think what people didn't get is like, why did he do what he did at the end? See, I can't say what happened. Talk about the end without spoiling it, and I'm not even gonna bother saying spoiler alert. But the whole thing is, if people have a problem with the ending, fine. Obviously, the ending may just be the ending in that movie. Maybe was just there, for Ender's Game, was probably just there to set up the future movies. I mean, I can see this being a trilogy. I think there's a total of 5 books, and I could probably work into a trilogy very easily. But even on its own, if they don't follow up on it, it's still awesome. And it's see, okay, I guess that's another thing. People have a problem with the main character being this kid. Maybe it's because the kid is now a believable leader type person, and that you can't really believe him being a hero. That's actually what I liked about it. Because how many movies do we see where the hero is always like a badass that seems infallible, that seems flawless? I don't. I want more believable heroes. People that
Mhm.
make stupid decisions, like Rick Grimes. As much as we make fun of Rick Grimes on The Walking Dead for crying and being a blubbering idiot sometimes and hesitating when he needs to make big decisions, he's still a great leader. And it's the fact that he can make tough, the fact that he can be violent when he needs to be, but then he still is humanized, he still has compassion, that makes him a good leader. Because if you have someone that's just all about the violence, like Shane, you don't want someone like that calling the shots, because they'll be like, yeah, kill everybody, fuck it. I don't know, I loved Ender's Game. Did you, so you said Fast and Furious 6. I really enjoyed that. I like the way they flipped everything around on that, and having The Rock come back as to help them out. But it's funny, like they made him. He still pretty much was the same character he was in the previous movie. Cause I think it was in Fast Five where he was chasing them, but then they ended up joining forces and becoming best friends. But in Fast and Furious 6, it feels like he wasn't as good at his job as he used to be. Like they had to make everybody less capable in order for the bad guy to be more of a threat. I don't know. But then again, no, I think they did a good job. I take it back. They did a good job because the bad guy, was always like one step ahead of them, but then they finally found a way to outsmart him. And I think it was pretty believable. But
Mhm.
the thing about the Fast and Furious movies, they're always gonna have things they're gonna be like, yeah, that stunt would not happen in real life, but that was cool.
Yeah, well, with the Fast and the Furious 6, it was more to the point of not downgrading the crew, but it's more like and I'm just gonna say their real names. But with when the Rock caught when the Rock was chasing Dom and all them in 5 and they got away, well, it's now the Rock's onto the one of the biggest fish in the sea, and he wants to take them down. Well, you need criminals to catch a criminal, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So he's like, hey, I'm not out here to arrest you. I'm here. I want your help. And then straight up, they're like, sure, let's do it. And then, of course, they get their pardons and their free reign back into the U.S. and all that stuff. But which was cool. You know, the last the movie that I watched here the other day was Pacific Rim.
That's another one on my list.
Hmm.
What do you think about it?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was kind of in the beginning. It was kind of like what's going on. But near the the first 10, 15 minute 20 minutes into it, then it was like, okay, this is cool. I need to sit up and watch this because I don't want to miss anything. Yeah.
Was that a Michael Bay movie?
Uh, Wait, I'm gonna look it up again.
I mean,
Uh,
that movie looks like it would be the kind
there
of
it is.
movie you could watch over and over again, like a Fast and Furious, but like it's gonna be forgettable. Like it's just fun, like Pirates of the Caribbean. Like
Well,
not a lot of
it's
depth
like
in the plot,
it's
but it's
yeah.
fun to
Well, it's like one
watch.
of those movies like Transformers.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
giant fucking robots. These people, instead of Transformers to a specific realm, the actual guys are in their they were in Avatar. You remember Avatar?
yeah.
The big, the mechs were as tall as I call them blue people, but they were tall as those guys. I mean, they were really freaking tall. It's like that, and it's basically it's a space fighting game, really, or fighting game, space fighting movie, basically. I mean, they're on the Pacific Rim, which is in space. Anyway,
I
go ahead.
I heard the rumor is that the Pacific Rim was really just a really devious marketing ploy to get everybody excited for Titanfall, which is coming out next week. Nah, I'm just kidding. I made that up. I made that up. Let me just say that's not true. But Titanfall is
Well,
coming out next week.
and just because people didn't say it doesn't mean it might not be true. I think they did that too. They brought out Pacific Rim. What was it in July of or June of last year? June or July? Here.
Yeah,
Yeah, July 13th. It was out in theaters.
yeah.
The director was Del Toro.
Oh, Benicio del Toro?
No, Guillermo.
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo de Toro.
It's Spanish. The double L is a J sound. Guillermo.
Welcome to fucking Spanish class.
Listen, cracker. I'm gonna school you, Latino ways.
Listen up, Mexican. You want to go there?
Hey, listen. I'm married to cracker. I get that all the time. So listen,
Yo,
it doesn't work anymore.
Anybody that's listening and not watching this, we're not racist. When I first met Yogi, he was like, "All right, I'm Puerto Rican." Well, I have quite a few Puerto Rican friends that pay attention and watch and really, and they cannot stand when you call them Mexicans
Yeah.
because they're not Mexicans; they're Puerto Ricans. You don't like it, deal with it. You call me a Mexican again, I'm gonna freaking shoot you.
I think
Sorry,
I think that applies to any Spanish-speaking country or nationality or ethnicity, whatever you want to call it.
I mean, people
Ethnicity
from
would be
Portugal don't
correct.
want to be called, "Hey, you're a Mexican." I am not from Portugal.
Yeah, they speak a completely different
In a
language,
different
also.
language.
But it's just funny when people always assume that you speak Spanish, you Mexican. That's like the first thing they go to. Like out of all the Latino races you could think, you say Dominican, Colombian, Costa Rican. I mean, there's so many countries. Spaniard. I mean, there's so many countries that speak Spanish. You pick Mexican, Mexico, really? So yeah, the Pacific Rim. I'm curious to watch it. It looks like it's a typical summer blockbuster, right?
It is a really good movie. If you like action, it's action. It's
Yeah.
very action packed. If you're one of those people, or if your wife's one of those people where they don't like a lot, they like action but not a lot, they're not gonna like this movie because it is an action packed movie. Yeah. Go ahead. What's your report?
I'm fortunate there because the last movie we saw that was like totally. I don't know if it was I think it was a summer blockbuster type release. Was Battleship? Did you see that one?
Wow.
That's
Wow.
well, that's one of the last ones that we saw that we loved, and my wife just totally loved it because it was action packed. It didn't have really big plot twists or anything. It was a feast for the senses, but it was a fun thrill ride. And that's fine. It's good for the movies. Not every movie has to be a freaking independent film, artistic, artsy fartsy type of thing.
Right.
So I definitely want to check this out. Maybe I'll see if I can yar and watch Pacific Rim.
Wow. I was at the bowling alley last week when we were doing our leagues. And there's a radio station that bowls their league. They have a league that bowls right next to us on the same night. And they throughout the bowling league, if you get 3 strikes in a row, or if you get a turkey, or you get however many, you get a prize.